All right. Does this sound like it's working now? I think it's working. Let's wait until got others though. It's good now. Sick. Okay, let me get rid of my voice there. Word. Thanks for the help, Sam. No, I'm not gonna react to anything. Sorry about that, Parth. Live reactions are too much to do at one time. You're trying to pay attention to people commenting and the video, and as one man, that's just not possible. I'm thinking what we can do is just chat, hang out. It's been a long time since we've been in contact, especially live, and a lot has changed. Yeah, it's been an absolute ride, so I thought it'd be fun to, yeah, if anyone's got questions, we can just talk, and I'll give you guys a little update on where the channel's at, where everything's going, because things are shifting, and I would like you guys to be up to date with all of that. Yeah, so I feel like we should just get started with asking some questions and catching up. Broughton, what's up, man? He says, how you both doing? Yeah, it's been a crazy time, so I feel like the question how you doing is pretty loaded, and I'm sure it's the same for Mitch. He's right now is underways with a buddy. They're up north doing some like wood splitting and stuff in the woods today, which is cool. But yeah, I would say short answer is doing very, very well. But it has involved stripping a lot of the stuff, the extra baggage that we carry around all the time. And I think that this channel, up until now, had been, it kind of it empowered us with all the things we needed to know to really start stripping all of those things. Like when you're listening to all these spiritual teachers constantly, then it's like you're prepping your mind for what's about to happen in your physical and perceptual reality. So it felt like the last 2 3 months, whatever it's been since we've been uploading frequently, is that the stuff moving from a conceptual idea to now being super real. Happy to go into more detail about that. But yeah, that's the short answer. Mitch is doing overall well as well. Parth asked, when is Mitch going to go to India? Hello, everyone else who's saying what's up. Someone's saying have been here since 1K subs. That's wild. So thanks for being here. That's unreal. But yeah, when is Mitch going to India? The whole situation right now with COVID is making that pretty complex. He's moving out of the house here at the end of January because he's going to move in at home where he'll be able to save a bit more money and just work to save up. And I think his plan is whenever they open up the year-long visas again, get a year-long visa and shoot over there. Of course, he needs to have enough money saved up at that point because he wants to be in a position where he doesn't need to worry about getting a job or anything like that, and he can instead really focus on his growth and the whole journey, which is super cool. So yeah, that's not on a hard timeline, but yeah, that's kind of the update on that. Hello, baby dwarf. No Mano Star. Do you know anything about critical race theory? Yes, I took a class on race and gender studies that was very interesting. And these are also topics that I am super interested in exploring. However, um, one of the things I've been noticing is that uh, with this channel, there is a core group of followers who really seem to be all about the mission of Learn With Us, which is to really expand and explore new topics. However, the vast majority of people who are subscribed to Learn With Us are only here for very certain videos, usually ones with Sadhguru's face on them, which we all love Sadhguru, so totally understand that. But what I've been noticing, and what a bigger channel update has to do with, is that kind of limited scope of what actually works on this channel, because most things are not getting any sort of ability to take off just because people aren't super interested. But we'll talk about that in a bit of time. Let's see what other questions are going on. Have you done Irshambali Mudra? Yeah, so we did the second part of inner engineering online, and that's been amazing. And I think one of the big things that also triggered us to start making all these different moves. So yeah, I've been practicing Shambhavi every morning for, I don't know. So he recommends that you do 40 days where it's twice a day. And then after that, you're doing it once a day. I think it's been like 2.5 months. And the best way I describe it to people when they ask, like, why are you doing breath work every morning? What does this do? It feels in my body as if I have gone from a gas vehicle to like an electric vehicle. And not only an electric vehicle, but a vehicle working on some sort of space energy. Like inhaling through my nose, I'm sure for any of you who have done this practice, inhaling through your nose feels heavenly now. It's like so effortless. I mean, I'm a little bit stuffy right now, so bad example, which is really funny because there's a few breath holds for anyone doing the practice. You guys know about the different breath holds going on, but after the like biggest breath hold at the end of it, right now with the stuffy nose, the next inhale is like painful because all of the mucus in my entire body just gets ripped through. But it clears you out really well too. So yeah, that feels really good, and has been a really amazing experience. Energy feels very high, and yeah, it's really broken me into what the possibilities really are. All right, I'm gonna walk through some other questions. Last video was dope. Thank you, Samuel. Much love for that. Yeah, dove into the Matrix. That was that. Yeah, that's fun. Is it possible to grind without drive? That's an interesting question, Vivek. I think no. And that's what's become very clear on this channel, is that the type of content we were doing was super grind type content, but we had a ton of drive because Mitch and I were working together the whole time. We were both on this very similar spiritual path at that time, just discovering all of these new things. So when we had each other and that drive, the grind isn't the grind. You know, I love this thing that I think Nisargadatta said it, where he goes, yeah, when you're on this type of path, there is no effort. You know, effort just rises and falls on its own. So it doesn't feel like there's a grind when you're in it. You are just being pulled to do those things. And I think this whole phase of internal journeying that the last 3 months have really also shown how that plays out in daily life, where my drivers are changing and the things that I'm pulled towards are now changing. And I think that it's really difficult to grind on something that you aren't driven for, and following that drive also seems like the most important thing to do. So yeah, that's also stuff we'll get into later. Let's see what else is going on in here. Yoga is life. How are you, brother? Are there financial challenges? Definitely. But we're super lucky that Mitch and I both have good jobs and stuff. So, and I love my job and the stuff I'm doing. I'm realizing that I need to be starting to work with people in person. So I'm starting a job probably next week or the week after, where I'm going to be working with kids, and that's going to be twice a week. I'm just going to be they have it's called the Boys and Girls Club, which is this nonprofit organization. And I'm going to be working with kids, doing homework with them and kind of teaching them different skills on the computer and stuff. Probably getting to teach them how to edit videos and create music videos and stuff like that. So that will be super fun. I'm really excited to, have a time in person like that. Because, I've been noticing with all the spiritual stuff, it's very easy. Spirituality is very easy when you're sitting watching someone on a computer screen. You're like, oh yeah, I understand what you mean about giving yourself and being a slave to the world and really just opening to every possibility. But you're just sitting behind a computer screen. And that's the truth of it. So what's exciting for me now is going and stepping out into the world. And I think Mitch is in a similar place. And that's why he has this whole journey for India that he's looking to do. And I hope you all, of course, staying safe at this time, because stepping out into the world is not necessarily easy. And that's also why I think a channel like this was so good during the really intense COVID times that we've been going through. However, at this point, it's time for rubber meets the road type stuff. So I'm excited to get into that. Let's see what else is going on. Someone says, heard your album, bruh. It's dope. Thank you. Yeah, that was a super fun project. For those of you who don't know, I released my first album called Evidence of Intelligence, and it's a hip-hop album, 7 songs. I guess you could call it an EP. It's only 20 minutes, but it pretty much was my discovery of higher power, higher consciousness being put into a set of songs, and going through all the crap that I was going through and how I was learning all these different things about the struggles going on and how that all relates back to this intelligence that somehow made atoms and these fingers and stuff like that. So that's a really fun project. It got taken down from YouTube because it mentions some topics that are, I guess, not allowed to be talked about, which that's okay. YouTube's a private platform. They're allowed to choose what's here and what's not. I'm super thankful that YouTube exists, because all of this is only possible because of that. I think moving forward, we need platforms where anything can be discussed openly. I think that's very important for humanity. However, yeah, so it's streaming on all other platforms. Evidence of Intelligence. The artist name is A New Dream. So yeah. And then Broughton asked, how do you come up with the name Kid Void? Because Kid Void is the name that I release music under in our channel, A New Dream, which is our artistic channel, Art for Evolution. And Kid Void is kind of the name that I write hip hop under, at least at the moment. That may be changing. But Kid Void really came from the fact that the word void was the first real spiritual word that I connected with when I was getting big into dream work over the last... Pause. Some good lemon water. Oh, yes. When I was getting into dream work for the first time and starting to lucid dream, there's this fascinating phenomena in lucid dreaming where all over the world, all different people get to this place called the void. And it's pretty much, you go lucid, and if the dream world dissolves, or if you dissolve the dream world, you end up in this like emptiness. And people have named it the void, but weird things start happening when you enter the void. So that's why in the video I made, which we have Mitch reacting to on this channel, it starts by going enter the void, and you like enter the album. But when you enter the void in a lucid dream, weird stuff will happen. Like you'll enter an energetic place where your body will just be vibrating. You'll start to feel your body expand in really strange ways. Different dream worlds will form and then deform all around you. So that's where the name Void came from. And Kid Void, kid is just remembering the child inside of us who's just trying to explore the void. So yeah, that's Kid Void. Thanks for asking. That was a fun one. All right. John Maximilian is planning to go to India too. Sweet. You should chat to the boy Mitch. That would be sweet. You're a really nice person. Thank you, man. Love you too. Do you have a definition of spirituality? Because I think everyone has a definition that makes communication difficult sometimes. That's a bar. That's a good question. And that's also something that's been hilarious to me recently, because I've been noticing that the whole idea of finding enlightened beings, like what the hell is an enlightened being? You know, you're trying to... Enlightenment is like an internal experience to one person, and you're trying to put a label on someone from the outside, being like, oh, that person is enlightened, when you have no idea if their experience is the same as that other enlightened person's experience or XYZ. And the same thing goes for spirituality. You know, it's like, oh, I had this very spiritual experience. For one person, cooking breakfast in the morning would be something that they consider a spiritual experience. For another person, it only is spiritual if they're in deep meditation, eyes closed, and feeling some sort of sense of expansion. So for me, where the word spirituality has gotten to, and what I've been using as the compass for spiritual development, is what feels the most real. What makes you feel more alive than anything else? And that is spirit to me. So it's spirituality is the practice of moving more and more into that state, a kind of a flow state of surrendering to the most real. So that's I guess how I would define spirituality. Good question. Do other people have spirituality definitions? That'd be fun to hear. Krish04, good to see you too. It's amazing. Would you both be open to a conversation type podcast? Broughton, I think so. I think Mitch at this point is, I've talked about this in other videos here, but he is kind of done with content creation for the time being. Content creation has never been his thing. He was 100% doing it because of this connection, our connection, and the connection to you guys. So yeah, that's really beautiful. However, I do think he'd be very interested, because he is very interested in deep conversations and still interested in the types of things we were doing. Because the truth is, with the whole spiritual process, this whole thing began, all of this YouTube journey began with the two of us talking about spiritual stuff, and for the first time in our lives having someone else who was talking about the same thing we were talking about, whereas we had both been on this very feeling individual track where we didn't feel like we had anyone we could speak to about it. So yeah, I think he could be game for doing something. If he just needed to show up and talk, I think he'd be for it, or just hop on a call. So that's also something I'll talk about a little later when it comes to the YouTube updates of what could be coming and how it's possible that people like Mitch and other friends would be involved or not. But yeah, Sandeep, let's go. Where is Mitch? Mitch is off. We know Mitch. He's a free soul. All right, what else is going on? Can we talk and discuss on Zoom or any other platform? Documentaries Unplugged. Yeah, so that was the idea behind the, what was it called? A group of people who gather, a sangha, yes, or satsang, same thing. The idea behind that was to gather on Zoom, and love that idea. The only thing is that we burned out hard and didn't have the energy and effort to be making 5 videos a week, plus then a weekend day of trying to chat with people. So I'm trying to create a lot more balance in that realm of things, and hopefully bring that type of thing into the future of this channel. Again, the future of this channel we'll discuss in a little bit. All right. Whoa. Someone asked, when are you planning to get married? Do you expect your life partner to be a spiritual seeker? I have not thought about marriage at all. I do think that I want to have kids at some point. I see myself having children, and I definitely see that for a lifelong partner, at this point it would have to be someone who understands this type of path and ideally is walking one on their own, because yeah, that's kind of been a separating factor in past relationships, is this feeling that I'm getting just pulled along into wherever I'm going, and I don't know where I'm going. And that's also a big thing of being true to that in myself and saying, I don't know where I'm headed, so I'm not in a place to pretend like I am and try to convince someone that we should be together. And I think that's very important for everyone too. If you're on a certain path and you have these real feelings, again, going back to that word of spirituality as the most real thing in your life. If the most real thing in your life right now isn't necessarily your relationships with the external world, external people, follow that. And then if that stuff comes later, great. But if you try to get into a, physical relationship right now, there's going to be a lot of difficulties because you're just going to be tearing yourself on the inside. I'm sure some of you have been experiencing that, as I know Mitch and I both have. What else? Love you and your journey. Thank you. Much love, Vishav. I hope all the first enlightened. I hope to the first, what? I can't quite understand what that question's saying. I think it's saying, I hope you become the first enlightened artists in Western. Maybe? Thank you? Except there's already KRS-One, so that's over. The man, the myth. Hi, Charon. What's up, bro? That's unreal. I won't call you the Mahabharat guy. Don't worry about that. Do you know Krishna Das? Yes, Krishna Das rocks. The main motive of my life is to be able to apply spiritual stuff during everyday life, especially when you're super tired of someone to provoke you. True. Am I doing any spiritual practices right now? Yes, indeed. Thank you for that question. So I have, as I mentioned earlier, been doing the second part of inner engineering. I feel like I pronounce it wrong every time, but Shambhavi Mudra Kriya. So I've been doing that every single morning. Besides that, I have been getting really deep into the gospel of hip hop. This is KRS-One, who I talk about all the time. If you've been on this channel for a while, KRS-One is a hip hop artist who sees hip hop as an entirely spiritual movement. And I've just had this draw to hip hop for years now. And it was funny because like a month, or when this channel, when Mitch and I were doing our last few reactions, I kept saying, I'm realizing that it's time that I find Eli's spirituality and Eli's path. And as I was doing that, the gospel of hip hop, so KRS-One's spiritual book, came into my life and was just laying down all the things I needed to hear. Pretty much, I mean, if you read the Gita, if you read Buddhism, Taoism, if you read Christianity, to me personally, I am seeing, because I'm reading parts of all of these things right now, I'm seeing how much overlap there is in the teachings and how at the core it is really just about the same stuff. And hip hop for me is the language that hits me the hardest. And I think that's the really important thing for everybody, is to figure out what language hits you and how does that play out in your life. And then also realizing that all that matters is how it plays out in your life. This thing came to me yesterday. A word is only as powerful as the experience it brings you. How about that? A word is only as powerful as the experience it brings you. Because we spend so much time like looking at words or listening to words, and absolutely none of it matters unless your experience is somehow elevated by it. Bars, let's go, Samuel. We'll have to leave now. Broughton, much love. Peace out, homie. Someone asked, do I experience existential crises? I guess I haven't experienced like what I've kind of heard people necessarily describe an existential crisis as, but I think I've experienced my versions of it. I feel like an existential crisis is often when your whole world view starts cracking and crumbling, and then you got to deal with that. And that has definitely happened many a times, including these last 3 months have been hugely that, because all of the things I defined myself as in a lot of ways started to break. And that's what's led to this whole shutdown of Learn With Us in a lot of ways and starting to do other things. So, yep. Let's see what else is going on here. Nada, what's up, Nada? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's a beautiful name. Hey, Eli, I really like the song that you made about quitting weed. Yeah, I would like you to watch research video about Shambhavi. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that like I made that video about quitting weed a long time ago because I started to feel better when I wasn't high than when I was, or I would have this like mini high and then dip really hard after. And breath work has definitely been the biggest thing having to do with that. Like, you literally do get the same effects of marijuana by breathing air. Why aren't we taught that in school? I don't know. It's strange. All right. Will you read the Gita? I've read parts of it. I don't have any plan to necessarily read the whole thing unless it comes into my life in a way where it feels like I should. Yeah, I think it's probably a good time now to talk about the future of Learn With Us. If people are ready for it. Let me know if you're ready in the comments, because this is going to be some intense information. And time for some celery juice to get me amped up. Wow. Oh yeah. Do you guys hear my swallowing in the mic? I'm sorry if that's the case. Uh-oh. Sam says yes, yes, and yes. Someone else asking if interviews are coming. All right, so the other day, time for the Learn With Us update. Ready Player 69. Oh boy. All right, sounds like people are ready. The other day, I sat down and, as probably many of you saw, I did like a whole rebrand, came up with this new logo that like came to me in a vision and all this stuff. And then I had this dream of a pregnant woman. And she looks at me and goes, "You're trying to rush the child." And that slapped me in the face, because I had realized that my focus on Learn With Us since Mitch was gone was, how do I turn this around, turn it into something really beautiful, make it happen. And I just started putting so much work into that without ever pausing to say, is this actually the next step that wants to happen? Is this the child that wants to be birthed? And that dream woke me up to the fact that I hadn't paused. So after I uploaded this whole new logo and new kind of Learn With Us video, I took a step away and came back after that step and thought, okay, I'm going to try to do some reactions, see if it feels good or not, and then see what happens. I tried to film a reaction or two, and it was bad. I felt not alive. It felt like I was pretending to be something, and it became very clear to me that reaction content is not what I am here to do at this point. which is very difficult because this whole channel of 14,000 people is built on reaction content. And the truth in my heart is that that type of content doesn't mean much to me anymore, because it feels honestly like all of that mental prep, which is an amazing thing and something to keep going back to, I think, that reaction content has, it all just happens in front of a screen. And at this point, the mental prep is largely there, and it's time that I'm stepping into the world, and that is really what my heart desires. So I'm gonna follow that. What that means is that this Learn With Us channel, so yeah, I made that Matrix video the other day about just trying to experiment with a different type of content, where it was like how the Matrix showed a spiritual awakening. I thought it was a pretty cool thing, fun to try. And it really reminded me that the things I've had that I felt the best about when it came to creating content is storytelling. Storytelling is what matters most to me, because I think that is not only the past of everything of how we got to this point of humanity, but I think stories are our key to the future and the future of education. And that is the stuff that I feel like is really my service and my calling. So I'm realizing that I'm going to be creating storytelling type content. There's a lot of channels out there that are doing stuff in that direction that I've always been most drawn to, because out of all the things on YouTube, I think a lot of this stuff can feel kind of plastic and feel like people just like amping up their personalities. And these people who are really good storytellers are the only people who I watch and walk away from, besides like spiritual teachers. But I watch those people and walk away feeling like I have really grown, and that thing was really helpful. And that is the type of thing I want to produce. So I've tried producing some of those things on Learn With Us, and unfortunately, it seems like the fan base here, the majority of the fan base, does not care for that type of content. And that made it clear that it is time that Learn With Us takes a final bow. And maybe there will be things happening on this channel in the future. But for now, what's going to happen is that I'm going to get Mitch, and we are going to make a final reaction on this channel where we react to whatever the majority of people want, and we're just going to go ham for one last episode, throw it down, and then I am going to be starting this new journey on a storytelling channel. I will be linking that here and at the end of that reaction. And we'll probably do like another live at that point where we can just catch up and talk about it. So for anyone who's very interested in what I am going to be doing in the future and where Mitch will potentially be, that's going to be it. And the name for all that and how that goes will be released at a later date. Let's see what people are saying now that I went on that. I love how genuine you are. Thank you. That means a lot. People still want reaction videos. That's fair. Don't stop the channel. That's also fair. Yes, on the new channel, my goal would also be to do live streams and have it still Like, what I love about Learn With Us is the community feeling. However, the truth is that out of these 14,000 people, there's like 100 who are actually the community, which is all of you guys. And the beautiful thing about starting a new channel and linking it is that all of you guys will have access to that. That's not going to go anywhere. So this whole community of core people can come if you want. And if you're not into the new thing, then that is the way it is. And this is what I've been learning, is that we got to follow whatever our heart is calling for, because spending time doing anything else is just being untrue, being ungenuine. And that's a sad thing. Yeah. How much time does it take to edit the videos? Oh, this is also something that I've thought about. Yeah, this is getting emotional. This is something I've thought about, which is a possibility. If there are some of you in the fan section here that really want to continue Learn With Us and make reactions, there's a possibility. I'm not exactly sure how this is possible, but I'm pretty sure this is possible, that I could pass this channel. Mitch and I could pass this channel on to other people. So if there were people who could prove that they were going to do something beautiful with this, then I would be so happy to pass this on, and to work with those people to get them up and running, show them the ins and outs of how all that stuff works. So if anyone's interested, definitely reach out. Again, that's not a promise that that's a thing that's going to happen or can happen, but I'm pretty sure it could happen, and I'm very interested in it, because I would rather not have this whole thing just go to waste, which it hasn't because of how much it's brought to our lives, and I'm sure a lot of your lives. But if you're out there and you've been thinking about creating a spiritual reaction channel, you could have a really cool opportunity right here. Yeah, Samuel, I feel the same, that it's like emotional, and that there aren't many people who have the same type of content. However, there are some people called the Raise the World Now project, or Raise the World Project Now, who are doing the exact thing Mitch and I were doing with a lot more subs at this point. I think they have like 22K, and they grind, yo. If talking about the drive, those people are just going ham. So if you want this type of content, there are other people doing it. And just because, yeah, it feels like it's time that I'm and Mitch are both done with this type of thing, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, and doesn't mean that this could be created. Nice, you've seen them. They're lovely. That's fire. Please don't give this channel to others. Interesting. Don't pass this channel to anyone. I'd love to hear some reasoning on that. Let things happen the way it goes. Just flow. Bro, I support you in what you will do. Thank you. Go with the flow. I totally agree. One of the songs on the new album is called God is Flow. And that was really interesting because I wrote that song. one of Mitch's professors in poetry. Mitch is big into poetry, for those of you who don't know. But one of his professors said that often your poems are smarter than you are. Sip. And that has been so true in my life. Like, I've just written things that feel like they flow out of me in a song, and then my life catches up to the song. And one of the big things that happened was writing that song, God is Flow. I didn't have a connection with the word God. I didn't have a connection with what it was, but for some reason, God is Flow felt like the thing that I needed to write. And then I was reading the Gospel of Hip Hop, this spiritual book that has meant the most to me. And it just gets to one section. It's like, the most important thing is that God just means going with flow. And I was like, how did that happen? What's going on in the world? It's crazy when those types of things sync up, because you realize that, like, timelines, how time functions, how thoughts function, that starts to get shaky. When you write something that you had never heard before, and then you see it in text a few weeks later in the book that is making you feel most alive, more than any book you have read previously, like, that's insane. That's super insane. Should make Sanskrit songs. I know nothing about Sanskrit, but that sounds very interesting. Thank you, JMR, for your support and saying that you would ride along. Villager, thank you for your love. I also agree that the biggest thing is that it's the spiritual path that's taken myself and Mitch where we're headed now. If we were just in this for clicks and views and money, we would stay on this channel, because that is the closest thing to that, and we've realized that is not what's calling us at this point. However, again, I'll remind you, we want to do a last reaction before Mitch moves out, where we will react to whatever you guys want. So definitely come up with some good things to react to. We'll lay it down, and that will be a good time. Maybe we'll get him on a live too before we say goodbye. That's a good point, Sparsh. Don't pass it, because Mitch and I have a special connection to the viewers, so they're connected to that, not other creators. That's facts. I do think the biggest thing about a YouTube channel is the relationship that you have. That being said, if someone were to step in, like a few people who I've met through doing this channel, definitely I could see everyone connecting to in the same way, and it would just kind of mean a rebirth in that direction. I'm glad you guys were a subset of my journey. This isn't the start, isn't the end. All there is, that is just that. Yes. That's that makes from nothing goes to everything goes to nothing. That bars, yo. Rav Bob. That is exactly what that whole first album was about, is this idea of we came from nothing. Like, humanity, the planet, the cosmos, all of it came from empty space, which means you'll have to listen to the album for this whole thing, but kind of what I say is, like, that means nothingness has something about it that makes everything possible. think about like empty space has some sort of intelligence in it that makes all of existence possible. What the hell is that? And why do we spend so much time playing around with physicality when it's like, dude, something's going on underneath all the physical that makes physical possible. Jeez. Nada says, I feel your content and songs are ahead of its time. Thank you. More people will be getting into spirituality in the future. Do what your heart says. I 100% agree that more and more people are starting to get into this type of stuff. I think it's probably going to become a norm that spiritual reactions are a thing. Like, I don't know if you guys had seen anything like that before, but I'm pretty sure we were the first, potentially the first people to have reacted to spiritual content. That may be a complete lie, but I hadn't seen another channel doing it, at least regularly. So I think that's going to become a very regular thing, because I think more and more people are realizing, dang, why am I spending my time watching people eat a ton of food when I could be listening to someone say stuff that opens my heart? That's beautiful. And yeah, I'm realizing the type of content that I want to move towards is the type of thing that I could see doing much more long term, this storytelling type of stuff. And inside of that, I think with mastery of it, which is going to take time or whatever, but inside of that is a real seed of like think about every big spiritual book that has opened most minds and hearts to the idea of spirituality. Most of them are a story. Like the Gita, it's a story being told the whole time. And that's what we're programmed, like that's how we find spirit in a lot of ways, and have spirit crushed in a lot of ways by certain stories about reality. Einstein near his death said, I have known nothing. That's interesting. Naveen says, I think you should stop thinking about theories, etc., and spend more time in silence of mind. What up, Naveen? Miss you, dude. And I agree. That's another reason why the shift in the channel, because it's like, you can think about this stuff all you want, and it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter unless your state of being has changed. So, yeah. Thanks, y'all, for holding down the chat. I see you. Yeah, please don't spam stuff, folks. That's annoying for everyone else. Yeah. Been talking for a while. Anyone else got other things, other questions, other ideas? Long time no see, Amar. Long time no see. Good to have you here. Yeah, I genuinely think lives are a really, really beautiful opportunity, because what I was realizing is that the channels on YouTube that I find most beautiful are the ones where it's just human connection and it's using this technology to connect, not using it to do anything else. And I think lives are a really cool place where we can do this type of thing, just talk, and you guys hear all the pauses and silence, and we just sit together. That's beautiful. I guess I'm standing. I made some new art in the background. That all happened during this crazy time. One last satsang, asked Samuel, for sure. We will most definitely be doing that. Oh yeah, anyone who has been supporting on Patreon, because we had the satsang running through Patreon. Thank you, first of all, because that money has, when Mitch and I were making like 5 videos a week, the only reason we could do that was because we were getting some of our groceries paid for by you guys. So everything that this channel was able to achieve was because of you all, which Samuel, I know you were a part of, so thank you, unreal. And the satsang type thing is really something I would like to continue, because I do think it's one of the most real things about this stuff and one of the most connected things. However, that being said, again, at this point, I'm getting very much called into the world, and I'm not trying to put a ton of things on my plate. But for people like Samuel or anyone else who is really interested in helping with this kind of thing and maybe even being a part of this next step, because I guess my grand vision for all of this, my grand vision is, what is the future of education, and how do we make this a world where people are, as I did with the whole update, logo update and stuff, the idea is really conscious, empowered people. Because just in this chat, we got a lot of very conscious people up in here who are open-minded, open heart, open-spirited. Even if they're just beginning that journey, they're starting to move through all the shit and let go of all the karmic buildup from however long. So consciousness is coming, and I don't think consciousness can be stopped. However, empowerment is, I think, the biggest thing that's missing right now, which is, what are the skills and physical abilities and knowledge that are necessary to help all those things get dropped, and to create new systems that are actually flourishing. Like, what are the things we need to be empowered by so that we can start farming in a way that's sustainable for our children? That's just one little thing. But how do we start investing in businesses so that the businesses of the future that are leading the future are actually have humanity and the planet's well-being in mind? So that's really what I care about. That's the big vision, which means these next steps, moving into more storytelling type learning, these are just baby steps. And for anyone who's in the journey and with us, and only if you're genuinely with us, like, don't go and try to watch the new content and stuff if it doesn't feel right for you. Then you're just wasting your time. Do what feels right for you. But if you're trying to ride with us and you like some of these ideas and the directions, just keep up with what's going on, because we're gonna need a team. I'm gonna need a big team of folks to be able to make this stuff happen. Meaning, some people lead in things like a satsang where, if I personally don't have the time or energy to create a weekly meeting, that doesn't mean that we can't, engage this following we and have someone else lead it. Like, that's beautiful, and that's the type of thing I'm looking for. So anyone who's interested in that type of stuff, and that was also why I created the Google form that I'm sure a bunch of you responded to, of, hey, what are you interested in? Do you want to help? How could you help? Those names and stuff I'm going to keep in mind going forward. Again, all of this is happening in baby steps, so it takes however much time it does. This is God's timeline. This is not my timeline. So, yeah. Because I don't know if you heard earlier, but we're not going to be doing reactions anymore. Anyone else who just joined, big update. Sorry if I just dropped that on you. Oh. How about this? Snake's been chilling the whole time. Just chilling on my bed. Third eye snake. Because its actual eyes became lost and it became actualized. Bars! Actualized. Guy's still requesting for reaction. Yeah. Yoga is life. Something funny happened the other day that was kind of like a facepalm moment. But I was going through all of our videos and I was like, hey, I should just make the things live that we had kind of blocked or whatever. So I made some of those videos live, and there were some videos from back when we were in college in like our other apartment, and one of them, I guess, gave people some notifications that like a new video had dropped, even though it was a video from a long time ago. I thought it would just become public, but way back in history, not like show that it's new. But someone comments and they're like, oh, you guys are back. And I was like, what? Dude, in that video, I have like hair down to here and Mitch looks completely different. His hair's way shorter. It's like, did you pay attention to anything that was happening, or did you just click on this video and go, yeah, you're back? It's like, dude. Oh, I am drinking celery juice. Yes. Yeah, celery juice has been key. I've had a lot of just like digestion issues in the past, and recently my stomach has gotten so sensitive, and that's actually probably going to be the first topic for one of these storytelling type videos, is that Mitch, Britt was on the channel one time. She's another roommate who's also probably going to be moving out in February, which is sad. But we are all going to be doing a cleanse over the next, starting Monday, for 9 days. And it involves a lot of celery juice and smoothies and stuff like that. And it's all about cutting out fat, which is something that I've seen most. What does celery mean? I don't know if that's a joke or not. But yeah, it's a very interesting cleanse idea that we're doing. So I thought it'd be fun to document and see if good things happen to us or not. And yeah, that'll probably be one of, if not the first video on the new channel. What kind of meditations are you doing? Asked Skywalker. Oh, first someone says the Matrix video is absolutely amazing. Thank you. Much love. That was so fun to make. That was with one of my cousins who also helped out with the new logo. Shout out Anthony if you watch this at any point. He's a boss. Yeah, the new Matrix was fun. I liked that movie. I still got to show it to Mitch. what kind of meditations are you doing? So I'm doing Shambhavi Kriya in the morning every day. And then usually at some point during the day, I'll just do a focus type meditation where there's a few different things I do. Either pick a mantra, stick to that, pick the breath, stick to that, or do a body scan where you go from the top of your body, just making these like, imagining these little orbs of sensation, and you just go and sense that little spot, that little spot, that little spot, and you go all the way down your entire body. It gets weird. You know, if you have your eyes closed and you're really doing that type of thing, you start to, like, one of the big things about it, this is from Frank Yang, was the person who I learned it from, but I think it's a famous type of meditation. But you'll be like scanning your arm or your inner thigh and scanning just like a little piece that big. And then if you're really lost in it, you won't think about the fact that your sense of self is no longer up here. It's just where the scan is. And that gets pretty freaky. Bro, do you know your MBTI personality? I don't know what MBTI is. I know the Myers-Briggs one. I think I'm like ENFJ or something. I had to do that in school. Yes, Vipassana body scanning. Good. Thank you, Skywalker. That's the word. Why open a new channel? So that's because people are too lazy to unsubscribe. And that's the truth. The new type of content I'm going to be making, like the Matrix video, isn't even as extreme as the new content that, like, the Matrix video is still very spiritually focused. The new stuff is going to be maybe just a study on the body for a week. Maybe just, a study on whatever feels like is an empowering thing to learn at that time. And yeah, the truth is that with this subscriber base, when you create a YouTube video, the algorithm first sends it to your subscribers. And if your subscribers like it, then it gets sent further. The problem is that if I make a video like that, or like the Matrix video, post it here, and only a very small portion of you guys watch the video and enjoy the video in the subscriber base, then it never makes it outside of that base. So I've realized that for the new channel, starting fresh is far better, because then even if only 20 of you guys come and it's a tiny channel to start, everyone who subscribes is going to be subscribing because they care for that type of content. Like, I would only want you to just subscribe on the new channel if you really like that content. Because Learn With Us isn't just going to disappear. Like, this stuff is still going to be here. You can always come back to it. We might come back and do some reactions every once in a while. Who knows? But making that new thing is going to... It's like creating a new seed that can flower on its own, rather than taking a fully grown tree and trying to turn it into a different type of tree. So, yeah. That's why a new channel. Bro, how about doing book reviews? I like that idea a lot. Mitch and I did some like read out louds of certain books, and that's definitely something I'm interested in. However, again, the thing that's really calling me is storytelling. And yeah, that's what I want to be spending my time on, really focusing on moving forward. However, studying books, learning from books, those are all, again, just stories. So super helpful stuff, and stuff that I want to talk about. Yeah, much love, Yoga is Life. Thank you for asking that question. It is the amount of information that I have about YouTube. I've been studying this stuff for years, man. I would have a master's at this point. So if any of you guys are trying to start a YouTube channel,
hit me up, because I can lay down the foundations for you very well. Yeah, I've that reminds me that I've been making stuff on YouTube since 2013, maybe approaching 10 years. The old channels were about trampoline. I used to be really big into trampoline and skiing, and yeah, I had a group of buddies that I would make those types of videos with. So this goes way back. This goes way back and has been like a burning passion in me since the dawn of myself. Hit up where? Yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, Insta is probably the best spot as of right now. Again, with all these new things happening, there's a lot of shifts, so I can't say that I'm gonna be answering every day or anything like that. But I will. Insta's the best spot. Of course, come the new channel, you can hit us up there. I also we have a Learn With Us email, Learn With Us media. It's in our About Us page on this channel. You can hit us up there. After creating the new channel, will you change the logo to the previous one? Do you mean the snake logo? Because this already is. I changed this logo back to the snake logo. Or do you mean the brain logo going way back? Or do you mean the moon logo from way before that? Huh? This goes back. This goes deep, yo. The moon logo is now on A New Dream. Filming a new song today. Oh, right. There actually is some other cool news of people moving into this house. So Mitch is moving out. Britt is probably moving out. Our other roommate, Jake, who I don't think you guys have met yet, is probably staying for at least a bit. Greg, the guy who produced the entire Evidence of Intelligence album, is moving in. Which means, and this also has a lot to do with what I am very focused on and care to be focused on, hip hop is gonna be flowing, which I'm stoked for. So yeah, we're gonna be making a lot of music, and we also have both been desiring to study music. So, especially hip hop music and the meanings behind it and how it's produced and such things. We might be making a channel, him and I, that will be really his channel that he's leading, but I just kind of help and feature on. And it would be a hip hop reaction channel. Less reaction though, more analysis. So something like new song comes out, we listen to the song. First time we listen through it, we just see how it feels, what its vibe is. Second time we listen through it, we listen to the production, the beat, the mixing of the vocals, talk about how it's actually produced. And then we listen through it again and talk about the vocals and what the meaning is and how the poetry really comes through. So that's something that's going to be more reaction-ish that could be happening. And if you guys like hip hop, there's another cool thing. Just some cool things that you could keep spending time with us and keep, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm listening to hip hop or if I'm riding a bike outside, I'm thinking about, and I'm focused on the spirituality of the whole thing. So no matter where you see me, if it's in a new storytelling channel, on a hip hop channel, in my hip hop songs, you're going to be getting the content. I hope you guys know that. That's really all I care to stand for, is that the content is there, even if most people don't like it. Like what Samuel was saying, most people don't like the truth. Fact. Most popular content on the internet is that which comforts. Fact. And love to hear your content complete with that. Thank you, Samuel. That means a lot. Definitely most of YouTube, most of TikTok, most of all that feels like plastic. And that was something that I was realizing too, when Introvert by Lil Simz slaps, yo. I love Lil Simz. We might have reacted to that actually. I think we did on this channel. You should check. That song is just packed with bars. What was I saying? I forget. It's gone. Yoga's life. Did you and Mitch have a fallout? Sorry for such an intense question. No. Mitch and I have not had a fallout. We just, or he first came to the situation of sorry, Charon started spamming something. Classic Chara. Love you, man. Do not spam Chara. Yes, there it is. Yeah, Charon, just one time. You just need to send it one time and we see you, we hear you. Joined a little late. What's up, Monu? Samuel. Love you, Charon. Yeah. Get roasted. It's like Samuel is our like bouncer. He's like chilling at the door. It's like, anyone who wants to come in, gotta get through me first, which I love. Thank you for your service. Wow, I've lost my train of thought multiple times now. Oh, Mitch and I have not had a falling out. We had a few weeks where we weren't talking much at all after the first like end of the channel. We were both just busy with work, would only see each other in passing or like when we were doing something as a group. And then it was like probably a month or something, and then we came together for the first time, went on a long walk together. And we both are like didn't have or were realizing that any negative feelings we had towards each other were pretty much just because of the channel and the fact that we were in denial of where our hearts wanted to go, which we talked about on this long walk. But then we're both on this long walk and we're like, yeah, dude, I started connecting with the idea of God. Like we had both never connected with the word God before. And I had it come in after the whole hip hop thing and God is flow and all that. And he's had the word God come into his life too. We hadn't talked for the month or whatever. And the first time we chat again, we're like, yeah, God is really present in my life now. And that's just what's been happening for the last like 2 months since we stopped making content. We haven't been talking about spiritual stuff most of the time because we'll just like be with roommates or whatever. And then when we have these one-on-one talks, we're at the same place and we learn the same things. And that was how the whole all of Learn With Us started too, because we didn't have anyone else who we had ever expressed these spiritual things with, and we found each other and it was like, yo, you've been going through this, I've been going through this. And it seems like our paths are still Jake, one of our other roommates who's also on a path like this, a pathless path, a wandering path, whatever it is, made a funny comment the other day that he was like, yeah, it feels like we are like, there's the path that society is taking, which I think is starting to, more and more people in society are starting to see and experience spirituality and starting to go their own ways. But if this was like the societal path and we all decided to go this way off into the woods, and we're all kind of making our own paths, finding our own things that make us feel most alive. But then it's like we're all walking through the woods and it seems like we're all alone in the woods. But then if you just like look to the left or right, there's just Mitch walking on his path in the woods, but he's right through some trees right over there, and I can stop and wave and be like, hey, it's nice in here, right? Good air quality, good food, this is cool. And all of you are the same, you know? It's just like we're all just walking through the woods, but we have like a whole army, and the army just hasn't, it's just starting to connect now. For sure. I would really miss your reactions, Vivek. Yeah, I feel that. They'll all be here, though. They're not going anywhere. It'd be super fun. I've been in conversation with the people at the Raise the World Now project who are doing the same types of reactions about doing a collab. So maybe what we'll try to do is that I just start collabing with them every once in a while. Maybe Mitch hops on a call. That'd be fun. And we start to bring all these families together while we also do our separate thing. Just some ideas. Love it. Oh, Charon, I'll read your message now. You said, after you create a new channel, will you change the logo on the previous one? I already answered that. And then you said, if you can do this, you can get more subs for a new channel. Shoot video in fast mode, and after uploading, ask viewers at the beginning of your video to watch in 0.5 times speed. You will be getting 200% retention. Oh, that's a hilarious idea. So you're saying that's funny. You film a whole video, put it on fast speed, upload it on fast speed, and then all the other people watch it on slow speed, so then they watch for double the time. That actually wouldn't work at all, because if you had just played the video at normal speed, you would have gotten the same amount of view time. That's a funny idea, though, but unless I'm wrong, I think that would just end up with the same amount of watch time overall. Eli, I would like to make a hip-hop beat for you. Hey. Yeah. Who is that? Sorry. Oh, that was Manu. Reach out on Instagram, yo. Send me a beat. I'll hop on it anytime. For sure. Yeah, as I said, going to record a new song with Greg today, and also film a music video, or probably film a music video with both him on it and one of my other buddies, Craven. So if you're following the New Dream account, if you're into art stuff, if you're into hip hop, go follow the New Dream channel, and you'll be getting a new song in I don't know how long, but coming up. It's I guess we don't have a name for it. It's all about empowering yourself and choosing, kind of letting go of the things that you were told you are. So, yeah, breaking from the things, the expectations and such. Victory. What are you studying? Are you a student of philosophy? Did you study science as well? Deepak. I studied philosophy. I am graduated now. I was studying philosophy, and then I had 2 minors, one in business and one in graphic design. Super fun combo because I got to do art, also think about business stuff, and do philosophy, which is Eastern philosophy class was where I got introduced to Buddhism, which I forget if that was before or after I found Sadhguru, but I think it was right around the same time. And it was kind of my calling into what the hell is going on with reality. Bro, do you think we feel God because we believe it, or is it just a mind thing? Doge is asking the questions, Doge Pool. I love this. I don't think it matters, is how I would answer that. And this is kind of one of the things I'm realizing, is that Sadhguru and all these teachers say all that matters is your perception. Like, I only care about your perception because that's the thing that decides what's possible or not. And therefore, if we think God, we also know that, at least for me, I guess I'll talk only from my personal experience, thoughts and emotions aren't very different for me. Like, whenever my emotions are a certain way, my thoughts are a certain way, and vice versa. And that's why another one of the meditation practices I do, I don't know if you'd call it meditation, is creative visualization. So I put myself in whatever, or manifestation you could call it, put myself in the space that I want to be in. So if I'm envisioning something like, usually I'll go from specific to very grand long term. Specific would be my body health. I'll just feel my body as if it's very healthy, even if I'm sick. Like, over the last few days when I had a cold, I was envisioning me now with clearer everything, and I'm not 100% healthy yet, but I'm almost there. But then just in the morning, taking that time to put yourself in that mentality, you start to think and imagine that reality, and then you start to feel that reality, and then you start to act that reality, because you start to be like, all right, if I'm trying to be healthy, then I know these are the certain foods I need to eat. This is what I got to drink. This is how I need to stretch during the day, make sure I'm still moving. And then that just happens on a grander scale with something like God. It's like we have this concept in our mind or a feeling in our heart, and then those two things start to combine with each other, where maybe you felt something that was beyond anything you had ever felt before, and then you're like, how do I tell my friends about it? That's going from heart to head. Or you hear a friend talk about that type of thing, and you're like, wow, open my mind to what could it be? What could life be like? And then maybe it starts to flood into your daily life, and that's head to heart. I think they're the same thing. This is all just like particles, energy. So that was a tangent. God, amazing stuff. Do you want to reach enlightenment in your life, or do you just want to live a life in peace and love and spiritual development? I'm dying to get there. I just want to know the truth of all this. I think the attitude of get there is the problem. It seems to me that, as I talked about earlier in this long ass conversation now, we've been going for a while, eh? It's been like 1.5 hours. Dang. Enlightenment, spirituality, we're using words to talk about states of experience. So definitely am striving and enjoying every day to soak up the deepest experience I can have. And that gets deeper and deeper, it seems, the more and more of these practices I'm doing. Not just the more and more of them I'm doing, it really just depends on quality over quantity, I've been noticing. Like, one meditation session where you really lock in and focus on your breath will do what 10 half-assed ones do for you. At least in my experience. So yeah, I'm definitely doing these things every day because it's making my experience deeper. And enlightenment, I guess, to me feels like getting to the like absolute flow state of I am God. Like, I am this flow of stuff happening. Everything's moving through with me, as me. That's how I've kind of been conceptualizing enlightenment. So that's definitely something that I'm moving towards, but I think the only way to move towards it is to sit still, I guess. Like be as much here as you can be here, and that's just the way it goes, like what happens. Hello everyone who's joining late. Good to see y'all. Nada, it would be nice if you collaborated with the Raise the Consciousness channel. Yes, I've actually talked with them about it, and they were all about it. Funny, because I have a sweatshirt that some of you guys may have seen for a while that says Freeletics on it. And that was like this company in Germany that has like a workout app. They're international now, but mostly they're big in Germany. So mostly Germans know about them. And they commented on one of our videos and were like, oh, Freeletics, we love Freeletics. I was like, what? Who are these people? They are definitely German. So yeah, that's how I found out that one of them, at least one of them, I think is German. But that was a funny connection. They were like, we love Freeletics. And I worked for them one summer. Make a song on your journey into spirituality. That sounds fun. I feel like this whole last album, Evidence of Intelligence, describes a lot of that for sure. Also, if you go way back on this channel, Mitch and I made a song. This channel started, for those of you who don't know, with some wacky videos, which are all public now. If you want to go see some embarrassing stuff by Mitch and myself, he'll probably hate me for saying this. No, if he starts hating me, then I can just call him out because his heart is impure. Yeah, we made a bunch of videos that were more like a story plus a song plus big concepts all mashed into one that don't really make sense but kind of do. And there's a lot of stuff back there that's all about the beginning of our spiritual process. So yeah. I forget who I was responding to there. Oh, make a song about spiritual journey. But literally every song I make has spirit in it and through it. So yeah, but it would be fun to do like a history type one. Zabina, good morning. Following one's passion is so important. Looking forward to future content. Thank you, Zabina. Much love. Thoughts on law of attraction. That's fun. It's manifestation, law of attraction. I think that they are a real thing. However, I don't think that they are all mystical necessarily. I think it's all just energy moving, and thought is a form of energy, emotion is a form of energy, physicality, physical action is a form of energy. And I actually want to make a video, again, probably on this new channel, about how like the manifestation process works for me, because I think there's a lot of confusion on these types of things. I've been realizing, and Sadhguru says this, is aligning your thoughts, emotion, and action is the way to manifest something. There's like a few other words I would use and I will use. But I think it's real. I think you put yourself there mentally and emotionally, and you're gonna see those things in your reality. Like if you every day repeat to yourself, I am being brought what I need, I'm experiencing what I need to teach me what I need to learn, If that is the mentality that you lock in, then you're going to enter the world and something crappy is going to happen to you or something great's going to happen to you, and you are going to perceive it as a teaching. Whereas if you were to just walk into that day and the good or bad thing happens to you, you're going to label it as good or bad, and that's going to be what it is. So I think the law of attraction type stuff is largely about changing your perception and, yeah, putting your perception in a place where, you're getting the goods. You're living good. What's the difference between philosophy and spirituality? I think you could, it just depends how you define them. You know, like you could say that they're the same thing, that they're both a quest for wisdom. Like that's what philosophy means, is the love of wisdom. And spirituality, maybe you could say philosophy is the love of wisdom and spirituality is the walking of wisdom, the embodiment of wisdom. But I think any good philosopher is trying to walk in the wisdom. So they could be the same thing, they could be different things. Depends how you define it. I wish you'd make a video on the similarities between Western and Eastern philosophy. That would be super fun. And that is something that I'm just getting into, I would say, because I guess philosophies, I've done a lot of them, but when it comes to spirituality in Western stuff, I never had a spiritual background in the Western world. Like my parents didn't push anything on me. They didn't push anything away from me, which I'm super blessed for. I do wish I had a bit more exposure to spirituality. That might have been nice. But I guess my mom was doing yoga all the time. My dad, mostly the physical side of yoga. My dad's a philosopher by heart. So I was definitely around ideas and caring about your body and all that stuff, which is really just spirituality, philosophy. It's being wise. But that'd be a fun video to make for sure. Bro, my question is, how do you establish boundaries when someone is trying to push you to be more nice or be angry? Devi! Good to see you, Devi. How to establish boundary. I had a very important relationship for me end recently because of me noticing that I needed to fully commit to self in a lot of ways, and that person was also not being able to commit to themselves in a lot of ways, because we would have tension about certain topics and be very judgmental about certain topics with each other. And I think the biggest thing is just knowing what is enough. And have you been very straightforward with the person? Like what I'm realizing is the first thing you need to know is what you need. If you have that laid down, then whatever situation you're in, you can know if it's past your boundaries or not at the time. And you need to be honest and sensitive with yourself in the fact that maybe you think you're ready for something you're not yet. Just be honest like you were a little kid. Be like, this is what I can and can't handle right now, and accept yourself for that and give yourself that love. And then when you see, when you're in a spot where someone is pushing that and doing something that's uncomfortable with that, if you know that boundary, then you can really stand up for yourself like you were a mother protecting her kid and say like, hey, this type of thing needs to change. I think open communication is the biggest thing. Like, if you say this needs to change and it doesn't change, then don't spend your time blaming the other person for not, not like being what you need. Instead, take the responsibility on yourself. And yeah, you got to care for yourself, I think is big. Freeletics, baby. Oh, Zabina. Okay, Sabina's from Raise the World Now, or Raise the Earth Now project. I think then you must be. So Zabina, people are telling us that we're gonna have to collab. So we're gonna have to collab. Yeah, what I was also saying, I don't know if you heard this, but I tried to do reactions the other day without Mitch and realized that it's not going to happen. So you guys are going to have to take the torch of the future of this type of reactions. And I would love to come feature and do as much as I can to bring the Learn With Us family to you guys. That'd be super fun. But yeah, thanks for being here. Much love. What else is going on here? What do you think about love for someone who you think will be gone due to old age, like parents? How do you take that? What do you say? Whoa, these are some big, big questions. And I am not going to try to claim to know the answers to any of these. I will tell you my experience. However, that is only my experience, and that's all I'm going to claim. My grandmother, I've been really blessed that most of the people in my life that I'm really close with, I haven't had super close people die. I've had my grandparents on one side die, and my grandfather I wasn't too close with. He died when I was 9 or something, and I hadn't spent a ton of time with him. My grandmother on that side passed away 3 years ago now, and I was just getting really close with her and really starting to appreciate everything with her. And when she passed away, there was a distinct feeling that she hadn't left. And this was also when I think most of like the spirituality stuff was coming into play in my life. But I don't think love disappears. I think all the love that you put out, again, all just energy, and these things are created and can change form. But when you really just put yourself into a relationship and give it all you have, I have never regretted that. I have only ever regretted the relationships where I had like a big hesitation and for some reason wasn't actually giving my full love to the thing or person. So yeah, when it comes to people who are going to pass away, this is all impermanent, this body's going to pass away. Like let's make as much love as we can while we're here. Safely, if you're having sex, because that's what it sounded like I was talking about. But I think, yeah, and I also think like sex and stuff, the ideas of love that we have, the stories of love that we have right now in our culture, messed up. So messed up. And such a lie. Like, yes, I think sex can be a very loving thing, but the way that like a rom-com, the big moment is when they finally like hook up again. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to the lies. Find the real stories. Someone joining a little late goes, "Hey, how are you?" We've been talking for 2 hours about how we are. Yeah. All right, homies. We got anything else we want to cover? It's been a while. Thanks for sticking around. Holy moly. Love you, bro. Love you, Doge. Absolute boss. Yeah, I'm game to sit here for another minute. Let me get some water real quick. While I'm gone, come up with anything last that you want to talk about. And if not, yeah. Your snake turban, yes. What are your plans? In short, entering the world more, starting to make a new channel in which storytelling and learning are the things, wrapping up Learn With Us by making some badass final reaction with Mitch, doing a Learn With Us final party. That sounds good. And then evolution. That's all it is. Chandra, what's up? Dang, a lot of the day ones up in here. Hello, Arvind Swami. I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of these names right, but shoot your shot, you know? I also realized that the other day, one of my friends was speaking Spanish, and I could just tell, spent some time in Spain, I could tell how bad his accent was, and I was like, oh, dude, it's like you're making fun of the language right now. And then I paused, and I was like, what am I being judgmental about? This kid is trying to learn a new language and integrate with a different culture and experience something new, and I'm over here judging him because he sounds weird. I deserve some slaps for that. Why do you want to learn up rap with us? Learn with us? Rap with us. Oh, that'd be cool. Rap with us. Venus, I explained all of that throughout this. Just because there are some people who have been here the whole time. I'll leave you to be able to go back and check that out. Hey, bro, do you get angry? Yes. I definitely have mostly positive emotions. And I think that's because someone asked me about this the other day. I think it's because of like the manifestation practices that I've been doing for whatever, 1.5 years now, of maybe longer, definitely longer. That's crazy. But practices of putting myself into a positive mind state at the beginning of the day. It's unreal. I do think on the new channel, I'd probably also do like a morning routine type video if people are interested in that type of thing, because I see a lot of people do videos like that, and I think a lot of them are kind of toxic. But I do think there's like, if you get your mornings right, game changer. But yeah, these days when I feel an extreme emotion, something I was talking to Mitch and my other roommate Jake about, it's so much about enter the stillness in that emotion. Crazy practice. If you feel your anger peak way up, take yourself a step back from the anger, completely feel the anger, but understand that you're not the anger. And that's wild because this like power of choice then enters your hand. And it's a power, it's a responsibility. And you get to respond, like choose how to respond, as Sadhguru always says. The ability to respond then appears. So yeah, making space from those emotions is what I've been working on. Even the positive ones. Fully experiencing them with space. So I don't need to act on any of this stuff. But I'm living it. You know, life's all about the experience. What are the practices that you do and habits that have changed after spiritual practices happened? I breathe with my nose. That's about all. That's about all we need to know. I breathe with my diaphragm, and that just pulls air through my nose. Like, who would have thought breathing happens down here? Why aren't we taught that as children? Instead, we're up here being like... All right, folks. I got like one more question in me. My voice still isn't 100%, but I'll destroy it for you guys. Have a great day, Zabina. We'll be in touch. I did get your email. And now that these things are being figured out, we'll make it happen. That'd be so fun. Yeah, Zabina, also if you want to toss your link to the channel in the chat here, people could go subscribe right now. If you want. Or if someone else wants to grab it. Bro, are you a vegetarian? Yep. Yeah, I went from like a average Western diet to vegan at one point after like watching a documentary. That's how I do these things. Like for me, I usually won't like phase into something. I'll just be like, all right, it's time. Do it the next day. So I was lucky that I was at college and our college had really good vegan options. So I was able to just flip. I was vegan pretty strictly for 2-3 years and then kind of moved back into caring more about eating high quality food, and if that involved a vegetarian thing. Are you guys mostly vegetarians, vegans? Do yogis, like, does Sadhguru eat vegetarian or vegan? Is he completely plant-based, or does he have cheese, milk, eggs? That's what I'm interested in. I want to look another episode that would be coming on this new storytelling type stuff is learning about Ayurveda, because that's fascinating. And I have a very close family friend who's a professional. So hopefully I haven't fully talked to her yet, but we've exchanged texts about doing a collaboration. So that would be super fun. Also, I love her. She's the bomb. She was like a second mom to me. When I turned vegan, the main thing was, yes, Sadhguru is vegetarian. Okay, vegetarian, not vegan. Interesting. He suggests to be vegan, but he's eaten everything when he was in the wild. So he suggests vegan or vegetarian? Still confused. Sounds like there's some difference. Vegan just meaning no animal products whatsoever. Vegetarian meaning, oh yeah, I guess he says like honey and stuff like that, which for a strict vegan, they would cut out honey, even all like insect stuff. So yeah, he probably recommends, I feel like I've mostly heard him recommend plants as your main source of food. But it sounds like there are some details like honey and stuff like that, which are cool. Oh yeah, what did I feel? Any difference turning vegan? My stamina shot up. I could, like, I've done a lot of sports in my day, and I would do the same amount of sport and feel tired in the same amount of time. But then if I gave myself like a 10-minute rest, I could go again. Versus in the past, I'd be done for the day after that point. So my body was like bouncing back a lot faster. Currently, I'm having all this like digestion stuff, which I feel like is making the bounce back weird, which is why I'm interested in doing this cleanse. Which, if you didn't hear, will probably be the first video on the new channel. A deep dive into a cleanse with Mitch and another roommate, Britt. Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to ignore you, person. What did you say? Oh, yes, you said death is really a never-ending void. I don't know what death is. We'll find out. All of us. Cheers. Still have to listen to your album. Mitch did a reaction on this channel if you want a reaction to it. And if you want the raw thing, go check it out on any streaming platform. That means a lot. Thank you. All right. Last questions. Nada says, would you like to explore spirituality scientifically, intellectually, or experientially? What path are you going to take for your storytelling channel? All of the above? Yeah, I don't think my path necessarily follows. It might at some point. I've heard Sadhguru and other people say something like you should do one of these 4 methods and stick to it. It's not my heart right now. And I think naturally one of them might become the thing. But for the storytelling channel, definitely every video is going to be all 3 of those: an experiential, intellectual, scientific exploration, wrapping them all into one. I think a good story hits you on all those. The new channel has not been created yet. I will link it when it's time. You will not miss it as long as you check in with this channel. So if you watch the reaction that Mitch and I are going to do as a final thing, then the link will be there. Unless God rolls up to me and is like, yo, Eli, that idea you had, bad, don't do it, do something else, then I'll just follow whatever I'm told. But as of right now, that's what's feeling like it's coming out of me. Snake's getting hot. Oh, we have some nice snow over here. I don't know if you can see it. Looks too bright. All right, homies. I think it's that time. Yoga is life. Thanks a lot for this session. Thank you all for this session. Aditya, just 17, getting into this type of work. That's the stuff, homie. That's the stuff. Take your time. Be kind to yourself. Yeah, thank you all for sticking around. Thank you for the feedback on what's happening next. I know it was a lot of kind of crazy news. I'll be in touch. And yeah, know these videos will always be here for you. You can always reach out, Instagram, email, whatnot. And we'll be in touch about the next mission. It has been a roller coaster journey, Samuel. Thank you as well. Big time. Big time. Yeah, anyone on the Patreon, if you, like, the thing is still hooked up to the business bank account. which is going to be invested into the new project. So, well, after I gave half of it to Mitch for his India experience, the rest of it's going to be invested into the new project. So if you want to keep lending money, that's amazing. If not, it's all good, and you'll see what comes next. Yes. All right, homies. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for this whole journey. We cannot express how much all the recommendations you guys gave us completely shifted the way we view the world. And that means everything. So, much love.